From Ethan Blevins, he asks on Facebook, how do you feel about the possibility of John Cena tying your World Heavyweight Championship record and then possibly surpassing it?
I don't dwell on that. People ask me all the time. I'd be thrilled if John Cena tied my record and surpassed it. I mean, it's one of those things that I don't lose sleep over how many times I've been the world champion. And on top of that, if he ever does do that, then I'll have to play the 21-time champion card. So, I had to leave it a few times on the islands when it was too hot to take with me. So, but I went back and got it. So, and we did that in Australia too. So, no, I'm not worried about that. I think the world of John. He's been the flagship for the company for a long time, and if John were to get that title again and even surpass the record, I'd be very proud. Be very, very, very proud of him. He's worked hard.
So let me ask you a question. You kind of mentioned you had to leave it on an island a few times. One of those times that kind of gets around on the internet is a trip to Puerto Rico. Is that right?
Santo Domingo.
Okay, Santo Domingo. Tell me that story for people who maybe haven't heard it or it's been a while since they've heard it.
Well, I was working for Carlos Colon in the Caribbean. I went down there a lot in the 80s. As a matter of fact, a lot of us did prior to Brody being stabbed, which I think was in 86. We all went down there a lot, and the business was great, and it was a phenomenal place to make money. It was fun, and we took our wives, and, the Caribbean can be beautiful year-round. So they asked me to go to Santo Domingo at the last minute. When I was there, to wrestle this guy named Jack Veneno, and Santo Domingo is a militarized state, government-wise. In other words, the government runs the island. So when I got there, I was with George Napolitano, who wrote for wrestling magazines at that time, like Pro Wrestling Illustrated or everything, Wrestling or whatever. And we got there and checked into this beautiful hotel, the Sheraton, and he said, "Come here and look." And I went over to the window, and we looked out like on 10th floor, and here's this guy, maybe 5'7", 160 pounds, running across the bridge there in Santo Domingo, and there's about 30,000 people. I mean, the crowd was unbelievable. It was lining the streets as far as you could see him. And I said, "Who's that?" And he said, "That's the guy you're wrestling tonight. He's training in public for the match." I said,
wow.
"Geez," I couldn't believe it, the turnout. So we found out when I got to the building at 5 o'clock, the guy, the promoter, had sold probably as many tickets as there were people to a 10,000-seat stadium. So we had a riot going in, and they turned my cab over, everything. So we got inside the building, and there was no way to communicate, obviously, because the guy spoke, he was Latin and spoke Spanish, and I don't. And so somehow through the communication, we agreed to do something where, like, over there, that instead of doing an hour, we did a half hour. It would be a half-hour draw. Well, at the end of the half hour, he had me in a sleeper, and the referee was raising my hand. And, of course, I got my hand up at 3 when the bell rang. But in the fans' mind, I didn't. So it had a full-scale riot. They came in to the ring. I mean, they were beating the crap out of me. I mean, literally was out of control. And the guards, the police, were such fans of the event. They weren't, protecting anybody. They were, celebrating the moment as well. And so I finally got back in the dressing room, and I stayed there, probably 2 hours, and they took me back out in an ambulance, back to the hotel.
Wow.
Yeah. So then the irony of this thing is that they wanted me to come back, and I said I'd go again, to win the title back, if I could take Piper with me, Roddy, right?
Right.
Because this is before Roddy went to WWE. And Roddy said, "Yeah, I'll go, man. What the heck?" So Roddy, of course, as eccentric as he was, he said, "Well, I'll carry the American flag out and all that." I said, "Geez, Roddy, you don't understand. This crowd is not good." The idea was that Roddy was going to trip him, right? And then I cover him 1, 2, 3. Well, the minute Roddy touched his foot, we had another full-scale riot. And the belt, we just left it again. And Roddy and I were in the building for 6 hours. They literally tore down half the building. So
back when heat was heat right there.
That's back when heat was heat. When wrestling was wrestling.